Hello, good evening and welcome. The controversy over the voters register is not ending anytime soon. The NPP insists that the register is bloated. The NDC disagrees. The IEA today held a debate on this matter. The NDC earlier confirmed participation in the debate, but pulled out at the last minute. What are the reasons? The NDC accuses IEA of trying to usurp the powers of the Electoral Commission. Is there merit in these accusations? When we come back, I will introduce to you my guest who will discuss these matters on PM Express tonight. My name is Malik Abbas Dabu. Stay tuned. You're welcome back. And apologies for the late start of today's show. Lightning struck the building today and we had technical issues. So we had to shift studios and then start the show late. But we are discussing the voters register and the debates about it. There are those who say the register is bloated, others disagree. At the IEA debate today, Jean Mensah, who heads the IEA, explained how come the NDC was not represented. Let's listen to her, and then when we come back into the studio, we'll continue with the discussion. Stay tuned.
Received a letter from them about 2 weeks ago, indicating, from the Director of Administration, indicating that Mr. Seydou Nketia and their new Director for Research, Dr. William Ahadzi, and others would attend the debate. And therefore, we're surprised that just a few hours to the event, they issued a statement to the media and not to us, indicating that they would not participate, and therefore it took us by surprise. Know that they had indicated that we were usurping the powers of the EC. I'm not sure what usurpation means. I've checked my dictionary, and it means forcibly taking power from a legitimate body, or illegitimately taking power from a legitimate body, and that is not what we have sought to do. What we have sought to do is to provide an objective platform for engagement on issues. Unfortunately, this is not the first time we've been accused, and other sides of the political divide have in the past accused us because some of your recommendations or some of the work you are doing are not favorable to them. It's not the first.
But did their absence at today's forum change anything?
It's unfortunate for them, because they are articulating a particular position and you are articulating it strongly. I think that we were all excited to hear those views and to take on board some of their considerations, because I believe that they've done extensive research on it. Indeed, they have sent us their document. Both parties have sent us their well thought out process document on this process. And I believe that having the array of people we had here, it would have been important for the NDC to be here. And so I believe that they are not participating, didn't take anything from this forum at all.
What would you say to those who say that already we know the positions that the various political parties, NDC, MPP, PPP, CPP, and the others have taken on this particular matter? They've made same, known to the Electoral Commission through various documents they've presented. Was this forum even necessary? Very necessary.
The positions that have been taken, have they been able to reach consensus on it? And the answer is no. We have entrenched positions. It's either you compile a new register or, forget about us, or the other school of thought is saying that, maintain the current register and clean it. We have not been able to reach agreement on it, and we cannot move forward as a country. I think at least here there was agreement that there's a problem, and I think the two schools of thought agree to that there's a problem. And I think that there was an issue of the EC taking a leadership position to investigate the problem. We are not in any way, we have no agenda, and we are not intimidated by anybody to hide it.
You're welcome back. In the studio with me to discuss these matters are Peter Boama Otokono. He is a Deputy Research Director at the NDC. Also with me is my own friend Enosa Yabua. He is the newly elected National Youth Organizer of the Convention People's Party. Guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Let me start with Otokono. Your party wrote to the IEA and confirmed that you would participate in this debate. Only yesterday, a statement signed by your General Secretary Johnson Asiedun Ketia said you didn't see the need to participate in this debate. How did that U-turn come about?
First of all, I would have to mention that it's important that whilst we discuss this issue of new voter register, we stick to the facts and the truth. I am just a bit amazed. But it's fact that
your party will to confirm that you are participating in the debate.
I'm just a bit amazed with this new twist of party writing to participate and all that. The fact of the matter is that as a party, we have had some stance, on the position of the IEA for some time now. This is not the first time. Even in 2012, we issued a statement that we were not going to participate in the IEA presidential.
And you beat a U-turn just like you did in this occasion.
That was before President Mills, left us.
Yeah, but we're looking at the party. You beat a U-turn.
Please, I'm coming. And that was not even the first time. And we have been very consistent on our position with the IEA. I recall in 2009 when they did a report on the elections in 2008, and they had to quickly pull the report off their website because they thought that it was inimical to the political interests of the MPP. And we have always maintained that the IEA is playing an appendage of the MPP, and that makes it very worrying. But
it's be that as substantiated allegation. I do know that you have consistently said it. You haven't produced any evidence to back
but I
just
claim. Gave you one evidence that they put something on the website which was inimical to the MPP, and all of a sudden it got missing. And they said they never did something like that. Meanwhile, the report was available.
Yeah, but
be that as it may, the issue with this particular new voter registers debate is that the IEA has been part of the Election Reforms Committee. And during the Elections Reforms Committee somewhere January this year, the IEA, the MPP, the NDC, some major political parties and other CSOs came together, did a thorough discussion on the recommendations from the Supreme Court verdict. Then the MPP presented a document, a proposal for a new voter register, even though that was not part of the case that was sent to the Supreme Court, and it was never mentioned anywhere in the Supreme Court ruling. Rather, even the judgment from Justice Atuguba mentioned that the MPP did not raise any issue with the biometric voter register. So that was a non-starter. And at that committee level, and at that reforms committee level, that particular suggestion, proposal was shut down. Now, they agreed on the roadmap. They made recommendations signed by the General Secretary of the MPP, signed by the IEA, signed by the NDC, signed by CDD and other organizations that were present. Then subsequently we had a new EC. Then this whole thing starts again. Then the Ghana Political Parties Program go into a meeting, including IEA. They discuss the matter. Now they give a roadmap and decide that let's hand this whole issue to the Electoral Commission, so that they decide, because per our constitution, we don't have the right to dictate for the Electoral Commission.
But that's a contradiction.
Let me consolidate
because your party has held press conferences on the same matter. If you argue that the reason for which you didn't participate in the IEA debate,
you are not getting the reason yet. You are jumping the gun.
I have the statement of your General Secretary
here. You just jumped the gun of what I'm saying.
What you are saying is exactly what is here. And I'm saying the same reasons obtained, and yet you found it necessary to hold press conferences to put out your party's view on this matter.
Yes, so that should tell you that we are not shying away from debate. So, please, that should tell you that we are not shying away from debate. We are raising concerns. Let me land on the concerns that we are raising. Perhaps maybe you understand me more. So it plays, duplicity for the same institution that was part of the Ghana Political Parties Program that came out with a resolution that we should hand the matter back to the Electoral Commission to handle. For that same institution to come out of the group and say that he's organizing or they are organizing a debate for the parties. It smacks of duplicity.
You knew all of this and yet you wrote and said you participate.
It seems you appear to be changing position.
I'm saying that
you are changing position very quickly. I thought that you allow me to learn.
I'm just pointing out that you knew what you just pointed out, and yet you wrote to say you would participate. In fact, your Deputy General Secretary, Koko Anyudu, who confirmed that you indeed wrote to the IEA that you would participate. His response when he was asked, why did you take a U-turn? He said, well, even Christians make U-turns on their resolutions.
Having made all this chronology of, bias, perceived bias from the IEA, and our thinking that they are playing double standards, I think that it's just obvious that knowing the procedures, knowing the rules and regulations, knowing the convention when it comes to dealing with electoral matters, there was no serious political party that would have wanted to participate, unless perhaps maybe they think that will feed into the agenda.
That's a slight to Edo's. Edo's party was there. Edo's party chairman, former chairman was there. Samia was at the IEA's debate. So if you
Samia is the former chairman. Samia is the former chairman.
No, the chairman of the CPP. She was there. She participated.
Is she the chairperson or the former chairperson?
Of course, she's former chairperson.
Okay.
What's the point?
No, that must be fundamentally made.
She was at the debate. So if you
say the current chairman, Prof. said Mondele was there. Our policy analyst.
Both of them, was there. Former chairman and current chairman were there.
Malik, it appears that you are not allowing me to flow and consolidate.
I just want to pick. You said
perhaps
no
maybe you allow me to consolidate. You allow me to consolidate.
You've made your point. You said no serious party would be there. There was a party that was there. The party's representative is here. I want to hear from him what reasons influenced the CPP's decision to participate in the IEA's debate.
Well, once again, thank you very much for allowing me onto your platform, and a very good evening to all your wonderful viewers. I think my brother shoots himself in the foot by displaying his either ignorance or arrogance to the Ghanaian people when it comes to engaging in public discourse and understanding how political parties ought to relate with the rest of society, given the fact that they are always on a constant search in seeking the mandates of the people. Now, I am convinced beyond reasonable doubt that it is arrogance than ignorance. And I say arrogance because you have a situation where even the president that was produced by his party goes about and tells the people of Ghana that we did not vote for a human being, we voted for a goat, and not just a goat, a dead one. Wait.
You shouldn't be allowing this on the program.
Now it is only a precedent.
This is completely unacceptable.
This is a very serious program, and I think that you have to respect.
That is why
I kept quiet. I listened to all that you said. Those I disagreed with, I penciled them down.
Can you make your point and then?
You have a precedent.
Let's focus on the election.
Is that language allowed on the program?
Of course, I'm making a point. You have a president who disregards and disrespects the people of Ghana.
How?
All of us who voted ended up voting for him. He comes up in some months to tell us that, look, he's not just a goat, he's a dead goat.
That has nothing to do with the voters register.
Wait. I mean, he tells us that he's a dead goat, and that nothing that we say would more or less wake his sensitivity to his responsibility, to the fact that he's president of the Republic of Ghana. I'm making a point, please.
Let him make his point.
I'm making a point. I didn't interrupt you.
I don't know whether I didn't know that we were allowed to create our own topic and attack people unnecessarily.
Now, when a president talks this way, and you look at the posturing of this president, the Auditor General's report, for instance, talked about the fact that this president can't report. Wait, I'm making a point. I'm making a point.
Address the reasons why your party found it necessary to participate in the IEA debate.
But I am
on the electoral roll.
Don't worry, I would come to that. It is germane to the discussion, and what I am saying, if you would allow me to speak, and the heckling won't go on, I would make my point.
Because we started this, so I wanted us to deal with that topic.
That's the reason why you invited me here. If you didn't invite me here to speak, probably I shouldn't be here.
Precisely, but I want you to speak
so let
to
me
the
make
topic.
my point. You won't decide how I make my point. I want to make my point
just speak
in
to
the
topic,
manner in
that's
which.
all.
No, but you
But
can't
certainly I'm speaking to the topic.
Okay, so can we stick to the topic?
Insult the president.
Your party's
Unless you don't
participation
want
in
me
the
to
debate.
speak, fair enough.
Why not?
But if you want me to speak, then you won't direct me as to how I make my point. Because
I
haven't even finished making my point.
And that's so easy. I'm the one hosting the show, and I called you on a specific topic.
Exactly.
Because you were talking about us being arrogant and respecting the people who watch us and listen to us. Let's take to the topic that we have advertised we are dealing with. And I know that you are competent enough to do that. That's why you were invited. So let's stick to that. I'll be grateful. Thank you.
But it is sad you seek to create an impression that I am not speaking to the topic.
I think that you were digressing too much.
I am
and that's
not
fair.
digressing. I am not being allowed to make my point.
Okay, so make your point.
Thank you. You have a president who goes about and tell the people who voted for him, assuming we all voted for him, that he is not just a goat, he's a dead goat. This is what the president tells the people who voted for him. The only reason why a president will muster the courage to say this to the people of Ghana would be because we have a voters register that is not credible. And that irrespective of what the people think, irrespective of how the people vote, their views doesn't matter any longer. Because we have a voters register that is under the full manipulation of one political party.
How is that?
The NDC. Now, we in the CPP have, drawn our own conclusions based on the experiences that we have had. Between 2004 and 2008, total vote cast in Jomoro constituency was around 39,000 plus. By 2008, it had increased by about 40,000 plus. In fact, the increase was around 634. By 2012, watch this.
4 years down the line.
4 years down the line, we had close to 11,000 increment. What happened? Were human beings all of a sudden created from heaven or hell? Only the NDC
The General
can
Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, explains that there are things that account for this. Either settlements, if you take areas like Adenta and those new settlements, people move. And sometimes, because of economic activity, people move. These factors influence these changes.
So more than 11,000 human beings all of a sudden decided to migrate within 4 years. Statistically, this doesn't make sense anywhere. It doesn't. And you see, ironically, which political party is explaining this very abnormal phenomenon? The NDC. The basis of every voter's register is this credibility and the confidence that, how do you call it? Stakeholders exercise in it. You have a situation where, political parties and the vast majority of the people of Ghana are not confident in the voters register, with the exception of the NDC. Almost all of us are saying that the voters register needs changing.
That's not correct. The PNC also believes that the electoral roll is fine. And the PNC is an incrementalist party like yours.
With the exception of the NDC, almost, please listen to me carefully, almost all political parties, and indeed all of us, are saying the voters register needs to be changed. So for Otoko not to come and sit here on national television and to be, mounting that high stage of being the most sensible of all. Are we saying that, yes,
I'm not quite sure he's done that. He's just giving us reasons why, in his view, the IEA ought not to be organizing a debate.
And the NDC didn't just run away from the IEA debate. They are virtually running away from the people. Just yesterday, PULC, they ran away from that one too. So when you have a political party that is no longer interested in listening to the people, in voicing the concerns of the people, in seeking to answer, some of the teasing questions on the minds of people to reduce anxiety amongst members in the population. When a ruling party forgets that it has a fiduciary responsibility to ensure peace and security and peace in the hearts and minds of the people of this country, then we have a problem. And I'm saying that the NDC is able to do this because they know they have a voters register they can manipulate, which is why they have decided to substitute the people for, how do you call it, a register.
Peter is
that is not
itching
credible.
to reply you, but we have to take a break. When we come back, Peter will make his point, and then we will speak to a political scientist who will contribute to this discussion. Stay tuned. You're welcome back. We are discussing the arguments over the voters register. With me in the studio are Peter Boama Otokono. He's a member of the NDC, the research department of the NDC. Also with me is Enoso Yabua. He is the national youth organizer of the CPP. You can join this discussion on facebook.com/Joy News on TV. You can also follow us on Twitter at the handle Joy News on TV, or send us a message to the short code 1760 to participate in this discussion. Let me come back into the studio. Peter, as Enoso pointed out, apart from your party and the PNC, it appears various organizations and political parties are of the view that the electoral roll should be looked at. Your party believes, of course, your party believes there are some problems with the register, because I've heard your General Secretary speak eloquently on this matter. Some of his prescriptions are quite interesting, because when he dealt with the matter of minors on the register, for example, his diagnosis was that if the minors were, and he said this on Newsfile on our network, if the minors were 14 at the time they registered in the last election, by next year they will be 18 and they would have reached voting age. His point is there are no guarantees that if we were to compile a new register, some of the problems that we have seen with this current register, those problems would not recur. Why is your party and the PNC against the call for a new electoral roll?
Malik, first of all, let me decry the level of arrogance that Ernesto has shown on this program. The fact that he has insulted the president, he has insulted the president and all that. I think that's rather unfortunate.
Okay.
And perhaps maybe he may want to apologize. Otherwise, I will apologize on his behalf to the listeners. Then, having said that, I think that the issues with the biometric voter register, we have spoken extensively on it, and I'm going to pick it one after the other. Then I'll explain to you why the MPP has no basis at all in calling for a new voter register. They have absolutely no basis. One, they have made a case for minors, and the basis for the fact that there are minors in the voter register is the pictures. They thought that the faces that they are seeing are faces of young people.
It's not just the MPP. I'm saying your General Secretary actually confirmed there are minors.
Malik, will you allow me?
I'm just pointing out that your General Secretary...
What you did to Ernesto, I mean...
it's important. It's important when you say... It's important to point out that it is not only the MPP that pointed out minors. Your party, your own General Secretary also admits that there are minors on the register.
You are too much in a rush. I was making a point. You should have allowed me. I have not said that there are no minors on the voter register. Just allow me to flow, and you would understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that the MPP gave an evidence, and they showed pictures, and per their judgment, they think that they are minors. There was no radio tests to determine the age of the people or the individuals involved to say that these are minors. That's what they did. But admitting that they are minors, if we assume that those individuals are minors and they are 13 years, they were 14 years, they were 15 years.
Do you think they are minors on the register?
Please.
No, do you think they are minors on the register?
How will I know if I have not done a test to know their age. I don't have their birth certificates to know. You understand?
Your general secretary
no,
said
please, no, Malik.
It's
Malik,
important to point
no,
that
Malik,
out.
Malik, don't do that. Don't do that. You are not helping this our viewers. You are not helping our viewers at all.
Okay, so
the point I'm making is that there has not been any scientific evidence that those individuals are over underage. There's no scientific evidence. But we are assuming that those people are minors. You are saying that we should compile a new voter register. Now, according to the CI 72, if we are going to compile a new register, what will qualify you to register as a new voter is your previous registration. You understand? Or perhaps if you are not an old member of the voters register.
I don't think that will hold, because if we look at the Supreme Court ruling on the Abu Ramadan case, if I remember correctly.
I'm not talking about NHIS. I've not mentioned NHIS. No, why are you just jumping and just unfairly frustrating my discussion?
I'm responding to your suggestion.
When you are doing a new register, what will qualify you to register will be your old voter ID card.
But if a Supreme Court ruling says that some cards that were used to obtain that ID card itself was faulty, you cannot rely on it as a basis to acquire a new ID card.
No, I think that you need to appreciate the issues. Relax. You will appreciate the issues. The ruling that was given in the Supreme Court was that you cannot use National Health Insurance to register. Ended. Finished. So it means that anytime we are doing any registration, you cannot use National Health Insurance to register. But those who have used National Health Insurance to register, how are you going to identify them? Please relax. How are you going to identify them? There is no way to identify them. Now, when you open a new register, all those individuals, they already have the voter ID card. So they qualify to register.
No, you see, it is difficult to agree with your argument, because if you say persons who go to register necessarily they use the old card, what of new entrants?
No, what the point is that, listen, well, I think that it is an opportunity for us to educate ourselves. Now, when you are going to register, there is a need for identification. One point of identification is that you get 5 people to vote for you, that you are a citizen and you live in that community. You need a house number. Then you need an ID card, a national ID. It could be a passport or anything, or an old voter ID card. You understand? Those are the fundamental requirements established by law, written in ink. You understand? So you don't just go and register. You just don't just go and mention your name and say, I'm coming to register. That's not how you register. So when you are compiling a new voter register, all these individuals you claimed were minors, now they are not minors anymore. So they are still going to be on the voter register. They will come and use their old voter ID card and they will get on the voter register. Those you have classified as using National Health Insurance, and that makes the voter register not valid, will come again with their voter ID card.
They cannot, because
they will.
If that were to be permitted,
no, they will.
The law cannot permit that, because if that were
Malik,
to be permissible,
Malik, how will you know that? How will you know that Malik used National Health Insurance?
If that were to be permissible, then it's going to render the Supreme Court's decision virtually useless.
No, but there's a law that has been established.
No, but you see, there is also a legal maxim that says that the law deems not to have been done that which ought not to have been done.
You see, let's not miseducate our viewers, please.
If you were not supposed to use NHIS card to register and you used it and got an electoral form, if you use an NHIS card to get a voter ID card, and the Supreme Court says that is unlawful, the foundation on which you got that ID card has been removed.
No law is retrospective.
I know that.
Why are you making this argument? No, if you are a student of the law, then you are just polluting the viewers.
All that means is that the votes,
no law is retrospective.
The votes that were cast in using that cannot be nullified.
Then the president
going forward, going forward, you cannot use an unlawfully acquired ID card as a basis to acquire a new card. That's fact.
Malik, you don't need to wet yourself over this. The point is that there is a law, and when there is any ruling, it cannot be applied retrospectively.
I know that.
Please, I'm coming. Then the CI 72 is still valid. The CI 72 indicates the fundamental requirements for anybody to register as a voter, as a qualified voter in Ghana. And those indications, out of those requirements, one have been struck out. Please, the rest is still valid. So when you go back to compile a new register, the rest of the requirements are valid. Please, please, no, relax. Don't wet yourself.
I'm not working.
Don't wet yourself.
I'm just pointing out to you that if you take out the foundation of something, it does not exist. That's fundamental law. That's basic law. If you
don't apply your fundamental whatever.
If you obtain a voter ID card,
you are not
Peter,
an
if you obtain a voter ID card unlawfully, you may have used it to vote, which is valid, but you cannot use that ID card which you obtain unlawfully as a basis to obtain a new ID card. This is basic law.
You are not helping viewers. You are not helping viewers. Let me make this point. Let me make this point. You can go to Ernesto. Ernesto, please. I'm coming.
The hosting now.
Malik, the point is that we have CI 72. We have requirements to make you a qualified a citizen to register. You understand? One have been struck out. The point is that you cannot apply that court ruling retrospectively.
No, nobody is applying retrospectively.
Please.
To apply retrospectively is to say that the votes that were cast by persons who obtained are invalid.
To apply retrospectively also includes to say that the registrations were null and void.
To the extent that the Supreme Court says, do you think that if you obtained an unlawful ID card, you can use it to vote in next year's election? The law says no, you cannot. And that's true.
This is totally out of place. It's very defective.
For those of you
to even be contradicting his own general secretary and all of that will point to why the voters register needs to be changed. Look, laws are made for man, not man for the law. Let's assume, yes, it is true. All that the CI talks about is there. Should in case we decide today that we are going to have a new voters register, I'm sure a new CI would have to be developed.
And what will be the qualification for one to register?
Wait. The basis for law is to ensure that we have a progressive society. That's the fundamental basis of law. Laws are not made
and that will be the requirement to
you see, I wasn't as unsavory as you are being right now. Laws are not made to strangle or kill a people. They are made to protect and project them towards their natural aspirations. So let's say that all these concerns that Otokono is raising are valid. Are we saying that we would allow ourselves into this network should it be granted that we are going for... Wait.
I want us to take a break.
It's about the essence of law.
Peter, hold on.
It's about the essence
and also
of
your
law.
view is that if the Electoral Commission were to accept that a new register be compiled,
a new CI exactly
has to be amended, or a new CI has to be laid before Parliament. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, we will continue with this heated discussions on this subject. Stay tuned. You're welcome back. We are discussing electoral rule and the issues thereof. Ernesto, you're making a point. We don't have too much time. I'm giving you 1 minute to sum up your party's arguments against the current electoral rule in 60 seconds.
Now, we are making the point that let's assume that 4 years ago, a 13-year-old registered. That 13-year-old is illegitimate. But his general secretary says that, by 4 years' time, the 13-year-old should have turned 18. Mathematically, it's wrong. Because what's 13 plus 4? What's 13 plus 4? But then his general secretary makes the point that this underage should still be in the voters register. Now we are making the point that we need a new voters
valid
register.
point is that you cannot.
It is not.
Where is the guarantee that
see,
you will stop this same minor from registering if you were to compile a new one? Where's the guarantee?
You see, we learn from our experience, and that's the basis on which some laws or most laws are made to govern a country. I'm not too sure that we would go for a new voters register without having learned our mistakes.
One last
and
sentence.
then guard, against it. Now, the call for a new voters register is like Gary. You all know what Gary is. It's food. When sand pours into your Gary, it's a very expensive process to want to take out the sand from the Gary in order to consume the Gary. The best and sensible thing that you do is to go for a new Gary. And that is all that we are asking.
On that Gary note, Peter, do you obviously don't agree that the electoral rule can be compared to sand mixed with Gary? You don't agree.
In this case,
and
where the sand is some perceived Togolese, where the sand is some perceived minors, where the sand is scanning people's pictures. I mean, this is most ridiculous. You see, the MPP are not taking the people of this country seriously.
The CPP here.
The MPP is not taking us serious because, one, we have remedies. When we have challenges with people in the voter register, when you think somebody is not qualified and is on the voter register, when you think somebody is a foreigner and is on the voter register and is not qualified, there are bases and procedures. Please allow me to flow on this one. I beg you. There are procedures for you to channel and request for deletion of those individuals. What happened to that law? What happened to that procedure? If the MPP knows that there are 76,000 foreigners and they can identify them, all they need to do is to file it to the Electoral Commission and request for deletion.
Peter, I think we have
if they are able to identify young people on the voter register, all they need to do is to file for deletion.
I think we have to end the discussion here.
The new voter register.
We have run out of time. Thank you, Peter Otokoro. Thank you, Ernest Yabua. We've run out of time on this one. God willing, we have to repeat this discussion. As you could sense, heated discussion on a very controversial topic. But I have enjoyed it. I hope you did too. God willing, tomorrow we will bring you another sizzling discussion on PM Express. My name is Malik Abbas Dabu. Good night.